professors and practitioners stay informed. As an IEEE member, Spectrum and the Institute are delivered to you at no cost. Plus, you'll get access to IEEE's Member Digital Library free for 30 days. If you're focused on research, the reduced cost subscription to IEEE Explore pays for itself in just a few visits.
IEEE is truly the big tip for technologists, and that means professional networking. By connecting to a wide array of technical communities, you'll quickly broaden your circle of colleagues and enhance your career. That can happen through our IEEE Collaboratech platform, designed with technologists in mind, or through the thousands of conferences IEEE hosts every year around the globe.
Looking for your first job or your next job? In addition to job search tools, your membership in IEEE includes professional development resources like career-focused webinars, a mentoring program, and even an entire initiative for technology entrepreneurs. And when that career really takes off, the IEEE Awards program recognizes the best and brightest.
IEEE membership helps you expand your knowledge and earn CEU and PDH credits through our educational offerings. So make sure to check out what's available in the e-learning library, the IEEE Learning Network, and IEEE TV, which hosts live broadcasts and thousands of on-demand videos recorded at IEEE conferences and events.
As an IEEE member, you get great discounts on books and ebooks, conference fees, insurance, and much more. This includes our top-tier publications like the Proceedings of the IEEE, the leading journal to provide in-depth review, survey, and tutorial coverage of the technical developments in electrical engineering, computer science, and related fields.
IEEE recognizes the responsibility we all share in advancing technology for humanity. That's why members like you have created programs specifically designed to allow you to lend your unique skills and abilities to help others. IEEE Move, SITE, and EPICS are just a few good examples of humanitarian efforts derived from technical minds like yours.
And speaking of minds like yours, here are a few of your IEEE peers with their tips on how to get the most from your membership.
I encourage you to get involved by participating and reaching out to your local communities, attending a conference, or even participating online.
It is phenomenal to be able to meet people across the world. It's phenomenal to actually reach and be able to talk to some of the best known scientists, some of the best known people in the industry, in the academia, and in different basically sector of our industry and our community.
Reach out to local sections, get involved in the local chapters of professional societies, and also keep an eye open for new opportunities that exist out there. Throw yourself at anything that you think you can contribute to, and I guarantee you that you will have a great time and you will learn new things, and that you'll feel that you're contributing back to the professional world.
I know that I've benefited and enjoyed my journey, and I hope you do as well.
Dr. Masli,
Yes, listen.
Dr. Masli, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So we just start now. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. So good day, everyone. Thank you for joining our free and open source software for non-technical webinar under the theme One Step Beyond Today. For attendance, lucky draw, and set purposes, please fill out the Google link that will be attached in the chat room in a while. First of all, please allow me to introduce our speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Masli bin Martnock from UNIMED. Dr. Masli is an associate professor at the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering Technology, UNIMED. Dr. Masli is also an associate research fellow at the Center of Excellence for Frontier Materials Research in UNIMED. Dr. Masli's research is in the field of microstructural analysis and characterizations of non-ferrous alloys and material matrix composites, sustainable porous ceramics for carbon dioxide absorption applications, and sustainable materials replacements in cement composites. Dr. Masli has been teaching subjects related to material engineering and welding technology since 2003 and 2011 respectively. Previously, Dr. Masli has carried out a good deal of engineering testing and consultancy services to various public authorities and private industries. Dr.
Okay, I'm not having the formal background in the related
Excuse me,
IT or
doctor.
computer.
Doctor,
Yes.
can you make your presentation slide into?
Okay. Sorry. I will. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So-called as a kinds of transition, okay, from the person who don't have any knowledge, okay, regarding the IT, and try to uh, what call it kinds of use this type of open source in the teaching and research as well. Okay, firstly, I will clarify the terms of open source later. So here I would like to clarify the terms. Okay, uh, the awareness. Okay, as you mentioned, the awareness is more on it's more about the well informed. Okay, interest. Okay, or in Malay maybe call it as kesedaran, kinds of that lah. Okay. And then non-technical here, it doesn't mean that the person is from the non-engineering, okay, or non-science, okay. Here, non-technical is referred to person or somebody who not having specialization or technical knowledge about these specific topics of area. So that's the definitions of non-technical users. Okay. Okay, so this is the outline. Okay, so I will start with the introductions to open source. Okay, followed by open source operating system, and go for open source software. Then followed by open source app, and lastly the open source application. So I hope this outline gives you the clear overview, okay, regarding this. I think it's about 2 hours session, okay, and another 30 minutes for Q&A, okay. So the open source, okay. Of course, when you refer to the title, actually there's a slight change in the title on the poster. So free and open source, actually it's open source, okay. So open source is originally, okay, referred to open source software, OSS. And when talk about this, open source is, of course, is related to the code, or normally call it as a source code, okay. And then, as you know, by referring to this figure, so if um, for normal, for the layman person, maybe open source is quite is relatively new, but maybe for those who have read a lot, okay, try to dig deeper regarding the open source, so they will uh, I mean find this type of specific words such as customization, okay, freedom, flexibility, and so on. So actually, this open source is synonym with this type of, I mean, kinds of word, okay, for an element person. Okay, for layman, okay. So, and in open source software, of course, the term is software. It's a computer software, and released under a license. We will go in detail later regarding the license, and then also related to the copyright, okay, and in terms of the distribution, and as mentioned previously, of course, it's related to source code. So regarding source code, okay, the most I think the most simple thing to elaborate the source code, if you open the Chrome, for example, okay, Chrome browser, okay, you can see the source code over there. Okay, how many of you realize that there is a source code in the Chrome browser? Anybody? Anybody realize there is a source code in the Chrome browser that can be modified according to your needs if you want to? Anybody? Before that, okay, I'm not sure, but I think most of you maybe when I glance through the name, okay, I found that most of you already have, have a good background in this particular related area, actually IT or electrical. Okay, some of you, I think, few of my friends also involved in this session. Okay, it's okay. Okay, regarding the back to this source code, so you can find the source code of this software. Okay, when you go to this very here, sorry, more tools. Okay, so this is the source code. Okay, and then you can change if you want to change. So this is the simplest example of the source code that can be modified. Okay, is it okay so far? Is it okay? A bit.
Yes, doctor.
Is it okay?
Yes, so far so good.
Okay, thank you. And then we go for the open source operating system. Okay, how many of you already came across the words of sorry, mention here. Okay. The operating system, okay, other than Windows, that the operating system is related to computer, okay, is synonym to Windows. Okay, is it okay? I hear
Yes.
of echo. I'm not sure why.
I'm using Linux Mint right now.
Is it okay? Okay. Okay. So maybe most of you, when most of you and me also, okay, for the last few years, okay, the words operating system, okay, which is related to the computer, is only Windows. But actually, there is more than Windows. I mean that there is a lot of operating system, the other operating system, okay, other than Windows. I mean that Windows is commercially available, okay, and for most users, including me last time, is very good, and then it's a user friendly, okay. But as you know, they have it's a proprietary software, okay. To get the best features, of course, you need to pay for the original software, okay. So this operating system, as you can see in the slide, so it's very important, okay. And you can as a the main function here is it can as a bridge, okay, for the hardware and application software. So it means that very important and can be maybe can be referred as an engines of the computer. Okay, so maybe most of you already knew about this symbol or logo, okay. So So this symbol is, who knows this symbol? It's the most, I think the most when I came when out over the internet, a lot of these symbols appear for the last 1 or 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a big Sur, right? For I'm not sure about the pronunciation, okay, but it's a big Sur means that the Mac OS, okay, symbol, okay, and then this is the Linux, okay. In UK they call it as a Linux, but in US they call it as a Linux, okay. So, but I will be using Linux, okay, throughout this session. And the last one is a Windows, okay. So, so actually there is a lot more, but I will focusing on these three, okay. So known as a computer OS, operating system, and for the below, okay, second row. So this is the symbol for the Ubuntu, okay, and then this one, most of you, I think most of you, okay, or majority use this type of handphone operating system, okay, known as the Android, and the last one, of course, the established logo for Apple. So this is the mobile OS, okay, mobile operating system. Okay, so it's very basic, and this is just don't be skeptical, okay, just kinds of just to get the overview, okay. Sorry. So for Linux, there's a lot of free stuff, okay, and for Windows, we're talking about the update. As you know, sometimes there is a lot of hiccup or problem related to the Windows or the Office. And for Mac, I'm not sure because I'm not using Mac, but I heard that a lot of things that needs to be bought, okay, especially for the specific software. Okay, and this is the kinds of the perception. Okay, for me it's still perception. Okay, for Linux is known for those who need a skill. Okay, but later I will explain later on. Okay, for the Windows patient, for sometimes needs patient, and for the Mac or iOS, of course you need money. So this is a perception. Okay, general perception. I'm not sure about majority of you agree or not, but this is just the perception. Okay, and this is also the kinds of the general illustration. Okay, the perception also, okay, from the perspective of Linux, Windows, and Apple users. Okay, so like these kinds of old computers. So normally most of the people relate the old computers to the Linux. Okay, later I will show you the fact. Okay, the fact why the most of the user relate the usage of the old computer. Okay, referring to the Linux. Okay, and the Apple, as you know, okay, it's a good, very nice computer, okay, or desktop. Okay, and maybe for most of the users, okay, they are thinking about the Linux is about something that need to be configured from the beginning. So actually, that's for me. It depends on the person. Okay, so I will elaborate later on. Okay, regarding these kinds of configuration. Okay, and also the customization from the beginning. Okay, so is it okay so far? Is it okay?
Yes.
If you have any
Yes.
or something else you want to share, it's okay, because for me this is a kind of sharing session. Okay, so I try to make it. That's why most of my presentation is not in the sentence form. Okay, try to make it. Try to deliver in the concise form, in the simple form. Okay, so for the open source, okay, so I will refer to Linux. Okay, so Linux, this is the kinds of logo. Okay, and then the tux is the name of this penguin. Okay, so the name is tux. Yeah. It's very synonym with this Linux. So as mentioned here, Linux is a free open source operating system released under the GNU. Later on, we will go through one by one, okay, in terms of the license, okay, under the general public license. And then Linux become one of the largest, okay, the largest open source software project in the world. So this is the comparison, just to show you the spectrums of the open source operating system which is available. Okay, actually a lot. Okay, when talking about Linux, okay, here is called it as Linux. Basically, that's the core. Okay, the rest is known as the distros. Okay, so distros here means that the operating system that made of a software collection that which is based on this Linux kernel. So I will show later regarding the kernel. Okay, so as you can see, until now there is more than 600 distros, Linux distros. So it means that a lot, or they have a wide spectrum of choices to be made. So and then the choices, the selections of the Linux distros is important, which is cannot be based on your preference, but based on your needs and also the computer performance as well. So I will show you later the example. And then as you can see here, there's a lot of these Linux distros. Okay, I don't think this page cover all the 600, of course not. Okay, but at least can give you some ideas, okay, regarding these types of distros, Linux distros. Okay, examples of Linux distros which is available freely, okay, on the internet. Okay, maybe one or two, maybe. Okay, you have gone through, okay, or read over the internet, okay, regarding maybe the Open BCD, something like this. The other one which is not sure why I haven't put here, but the most simple like the Debian, Ubuntu, and the rest. Okay, like me, I'm using this LM here. As you can see, the LM means the Linux Mint. Okay, so the Linux Mint. So I will show later on regarding the the other perspective of the Linux spectrum. Okay, so this is the predictable of Linux distros. Okay, just to give the idea. Okay, most basic ideas. Okay, as I mentioned before, according to the Debian or Ubuntu distros, Arch, Red Hat, Slackware, Gentoo, and the others. As you can see, there is a lot of, but this is, I think, it's they try to select according to the kinds of group only. Okay, so this not kind of like the predictables in the our chemistry subject, but it tries to give the simple idea, okay, in terms of these popular distros, the symbol and the name, and also the stable releases, just to give the brief idea regarding these Linux distros. And talking about this desktop operating system, of course, we want to know the percentage that belong to the Windows, Linux, and of course the Mac OS. Okay, for the specific region, so we can go and see over here. Okay, this one for the worldwide. So actually, the Linux last few years is only 1.9, if I'm not mistaken, but up to this month, okay, last month, sorry, this is not the other one, the last month, okay, so the Linux percentage is the current, okay, the latest percentage is about 2.4, but Windows is still dominating the market, okay, it's more than 3/4, okay, for the market share worldwide. But okay, we will see the overview. Okay, for example, we go for the Malaysia. Okay, here, okay, so you remember 76, 16, and about 2.4. We will compare according to these three: Windows, OS X, okay, Macs, and also the Linux. So we go to Malaysian market. Okay, so slightly higher for Windows 78 compared to I think bit lower, right? Compared to 16, okay, yeah, bit lower. 13 for Apple's OS, and slightly higher for the Linux. That's for the Malaysia. Okay, maybe okay, we will go through one by one. Okay, not the not one by one. Sorry, the selected one. We go for UK. So in UK, okay, I think among the highest percentage of Linux market share over here. Okay, so 4.27, and a bit lower for the Windows, and a bit lower for Macs, and slightly lower for Windows in UK. And then we go for try to compare another okay in US. So we're expecting more on this Apple, okay, or Mac system over here. Yes, it's higher than the worldwide percentage. It's about 28. Okay, slightly not slightly, yes, slightly lower for Windows, just 62, and also lower for the Linux, 1.85. That's for the America, USA. And then try to go for the other one in India, for example, just to give the okay, India here. The perspective about this operating system market share. Okay, of course, yeah, very high for the Windows. It's about 85. Okay, 85%. OS X is about 4.1. Okay, yeah, it's actually lower. Okay, compared to the worldwide 16. Okay, and for Linux is almost is about double, or no, it's not double. Okay, it's 3.66 compared to 2.4. Okay, so that's a different market share, okay, in terms of the operating system. Okay, so maybe it's influenced by many different factors. Okay, not just about the cost of living, in terms of GDP and so on, maybe the other sectors also. Okay, so this is interesting, maybe for the business analyst or business analytic area. It's a very good study to be conducted. Okay, to know about this distribution of market share all over the world. Okay, back to the slides. So this one regarding the desktop. Okay, is it okay so far? Anything that you want to ask me is okay? Or you want to share?
Okay so far.
Is it
Thanks.
okay? Can you follow me? I try to deliver in the simplest way, if possible. Is it okay? Everyone can follow?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so as mentioned before, this is the is architectures. I want to highlight in terms of the complexity of the canal system in Windows compared to the simplicity canal system or canal architecture in the Linux. Okay, so as you can see, there is a mode over here. There's a user mode and also this canal mode. Okay, so that makes things more complicated. Okay, compared to the very simple Linux system or Linux architectural system over here. So that makes the huge difference between these two operating systems. Okay, and before I forget, the kernel is the essential center of a computer operating system. Okay, so that's why it's very important. Okay, to connect. Okay, this the whole. I mean, sorry. Play very important role in the system. Okay, in the operating system. So that's why the designs of this kernel is important in primarily for the performance of the operating system, because it's become the main layer, okay, between the OS and hardware. Okay, and try to compare here the Linux versus BCD. Okay, BCD is a Red Hat, one of the example of the Red Hat, which is an enterprise or the paid versions of Linux, which is synonym with the enterprise. Okay, means that the Linux version that cater for the enterprise. Okay, so it means that they need to pay, okay, for this Linux version. So the one of the distros is known as a BSD. Okay, so when comparing these two systems, as you can see, there is a different in terms of the license. Here is a GPL and here is a BCD. Okay, and then in terms of you can see over here the comparison in terms of the concentration. Okay, they concentrate more on canal development. As you can see, until now there's a lot of the development of the canal and the introduction of new update of canal. Okay, and BSD is more on the operating system. Means that it's targeted for the specific needs of the enterprise. Okay, so that's why this is more on the commercial side. Okay, of the Linux. Okay. And in terms of the support, okay, the good news is about the Linux, but not for all distros type. Okay, so that's why you need to before we install or we use the Linux, we need also to do kinds of own analysis. Okay, go for the specific forum. Okay, not just over the internet. Maybe go for the apps such as Telegram and so on to see the viable or the trusted support. Okay, that can be that you can get, okay, to solve certain problem, specific problem related to Linux. So for BSD, it takes longer time to support all type of software. This is the drawback of the BSD. Okay, because this is the community effort. Okay, the Linux meant for the community efforts. Okay, so as I mentioned before, the how to choose your first Linux become very important. Otherwise, uh, you will become kind of phobia forever. Forever means that when you install, when you try to use it, you will encounter a lot of problem. Okay, so that's why you need to choose the most suitable Linux distros to meet your requirement. Okay, not just to get the things that you want to, but you don't know the basic things that you can handle. Okay, so a lot of distros, as I mentioned before. Okay, as you can see over here, Linux, Mint, Fedora, Ubuntu, OpenSUSE, and so on, a lot more. But to choose the first Linux distribution is very important. Okay, this is one of the example to give you the idea how to choose it. Okay, idea as a business person. Okay, or as a hobbyist, normal user, graphic designer, or as a developer. Of course, for the developer, there's not a problem because, as I mentioned before, Linux is synonym with developer. Okay, but for normal user, majority of the normal user, including me last time. So, of course, we have to scrutinize. If we directly use the distros that is not um, uh, how to say, it's not suitable to our needs and our competency, so we will be facing a lot of problem later on. Okay, for example, here is just a simple guideline over here. Okay, so ever use Linux based before, yes or no? Maybe most of person will say no over here, and then where you have come from, if you go from Windows, okay, these three will become uh, the most suitable. And if you're using Mac, maybe these two become the most suitable. Just to give the idea. Okay, so like me, because I come from Windows, and I'm not the expert user, so that's the main reason why I'm using the Linux Mint. Is it okay so far? Is it okay? I want to hear the voice. Is it okay? Or very common?
Everything okay, Doctor?
Is it okay?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, doctor. Okay. Okay, the other perspective. Okay. Okay. Actually, to get a more specific view, okay, I like this kind of figure or diagram that give the specific idea, okay, for the beginner, for the intermediate, and also for this hard mode, okay. Okay, for example, here, maybe, okay, some of you heard about Kali Linux. Anybody previously heard about Kali Linux? Kali, Kali, Li.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kali, sorry, I'm not Kali. Okay, Kali Linux. So Kali Linux is mostly used by the system, a network system, actually to test for the penetration test from the in terms of the cyber security. Okay, and also can be used, okay, for those who want to hack certain system as well. Okay, that's what I know, but I'm not really familiar with this. So that's kinds of the example of the hard mode Linux, okay, that can be used for specific purpose or purposes. Okay, but it's okay. Now we focus for this. Okay, so for the beginner, so you can try to use the Ubuntu, Pop OS, Elementary, Mint, Zorin, or Solus. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, last 2 weeks I heard about the Solus. If I'm not mistaken, the word is Solus. So they offered it's not more than 200 ringgit. Okay, to buy particularly for the support system. If you have a problem, so you can spend about for the live support system, if I'm not mistaken, but you can counter check later on. Okay, so that's kind of the service that available to facilitate the beginner. Okay, so for those who don't want to troubleshoot but looking for the faster response, faster support, maybe you can look for toward this type of service or services. Okay, and then for the intermediate, maybe you can try to use the Garuda Linux, Endeavor OS, Manjaro. Okay, I heard a few of my friends use a Manjaro. Okay, which has a good background, especially in electronic. Yes, electronic. Most of my friends in electronic. Okay, they use a Manjaro, NX Linux, Fedora, and OpenSUSE. Okay, and for the hard mode, especially as I know, okay, most of the developer tend to use, okay, this hard mode Linux distros such as Arch, Gentos, Slackware, Nixos, and so on, and including Kali. Okay, so this is just to give you the overview, the level of the complexity of the Linux distros. You can choose it either of course, the free version and maybe the free plus the support for the service, for example. So it's up to you actually. Okay, so maybe for those who want to challenge, you want to explore more on or troubleshoot on the Linux, so maybe you can go for the forum or so on to get the idea to troubleshoot. Okay, but it depends on the individual types. Okay, if you like to explore, of course you can learn more and more. Okay, so become more adventurous. Okay, is it okay regarding this type of simple classification? Is it okay so far? Or most of you already familiar with this I call it this classification or this category. Yes, category. Is it okay so far?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes.
Okay. You can follow me? Okay, thank you. Okay, that's about the simple distros, okay, about the intermediate distros and the hard mode distros. And this one in terms of the, as mentioned before, okay, is according to your requirements or needs. Okay, this is just a few examples. Okay, okay, we start with the simplest one. Okay, Linux, for example. So they have a good in terms of security, here means that it's not really difficult in terms of the installation. So I think maybe few of you, okay, in this session so already familiar with Linux. As you can, I just want to share, okay, the good things about the Linux from my perspective, my experience is you can even install the software, of course, freely, okay, from certain platform, okay, by using the single line script only, okay. But for certain complicated software, okay, such as Anaconda, for example, so make you need to use I mean you need to add in others PPA and so on, okay. So but for the simple program and so on, you can even install the software by using a single script, okay, by using the command line or terminal. So in Linux we call it as a command line or terminal. In Windows you call it as command prompt, right? Command prompt. Or now they have the latest one is not the latest one. The new one is called a PowerShell. Anybody know about the PowerShell in Windows? Anybody? I'm pretty sure that some of you are already familiar with the term PowerShell. Okay, so there's it's a new how to say, it's not rebranding, it's a new features of the command prompt that you can use, okay. So this Linux, as you can see, is good for desktop and for document, but it's not have a good in terms of the customization. So that's why for the hard mode, okay, and for this intermediate, so you can customize, more customization can be made, okay, such as a Debian, okay, and OpenSUSE, okay. But for the Debian, for example, there's a lot of customization, a lot of packages also, okay. So as you can see, the different spectrums of the needs that we want to get in terms of performance as well. You can see for the Linux, I mean, it's not as good as Arch Linux and Debian in terms of performance. Okay, of course, because this is just for the beginner. The simple, actually, the Linux Mint from my experience is almost similar to Windows. Almost similar to Windows. Okay, easy to use compared to the others, Debian and so on. As have a very good support. Okay, easily to very easy to get the certain when you have a problem, okay, or you want to install certain specific software. Most of the time it's very easy to get the like I mentioned before, the script, okay, for the installation and for the troubleshooting as well. Okay, that's all regarding this. I think the Linux solution, not more. I think that's all. Okay, and then now I just want to show you the reason. The reason. Okay, the reason behind why this Linux distros is popular for the kinds of old computers or like laptop. Okay, so the main reason here is because of this minimum space need for the installation. Okay, for example here, okay, as you can see, for Linux, Ubuntu installation is only need 5 GB. Okay, for the total installation, for the all installation of the system. Okay, but it's also depends on the as I mentioned before, on types of distros. Okay, so I will show later on for the lightweight distros. Okay, there's a lot of lightweight distros for the that only needs the minimum system requirement. Okay, so basically here the base install on Linux require about 4 GB of space. In reality, you should allocate at least 20 gig of space. Okay, but for the storage, okay, for the what you call it, yes, for the storage, so 100 gigabyte should be fine. Okay, but however, if better if you have I mean higher, okay, or bigger capacity, okay, for the installation. But as I mentioned before, Linux can cater for the lower capacity and lower RAM as well. You can see, yeah, here. Okay, for this lightweight Linux distribution. Okay, this is a few example that only needs the RAM for 64 bits. Here for 256 bit, yeah, megabyte, sorry, not bit. Okay, here about is 512, and but this one 2 gigabyte is recommended. It's a bit higher. You can see the few example, but if we press over here, we can see a lot more. Okay. A lot more example of the lightweight, okay, distros to be chosen. Okay, you can see in terms of the RAM, the minimum RAM and the recommended RAM or the suitable RAM to be used. Means that if you have kinds of old laptops that already lag when you use Windows 7, for example, so there is an option. You can try to use the Linux operating system to run, because I have few old laptop that still can be used by using this lightweight distros. Okay, there is an option, as you can see. Is it okay? Can you see here? Okay, a lot of I mean choices. Okay, this is regarding the lightweight, okay, Linux distros. Okay, but the name is not really popular. Okay, something like a body or a Bunsen lab. Okay, but it can be used, okay, to run the old laptop or the old desktop as well. Okay, any question? Any question? Is it okay? It's close to 1 hour now. Is it okay?
Okay.
Can you follow me? It's okay? Any questions so far? Any question? Okay, maybe some of you want to know either this operating system is just meant for, I mean, the one computer only meant for one operating system, or can be combined, or not to combine, sorry, can be dual booting. Okay, can be made in the dual boot system. Anybody knows the answer? Can or not? The dual booting system consists of Linux and Windows in the same desktop or laptop. Is it viable or not? Anybody If you have the experience, want to share? Is it okay? Clear or not? My question? It's become a typical. If we run the system, can but recommended Wan Zuki. Not okay. So they have a different perspective. Okay, I give you the perspective. This is also from my limited experience. Okay, so I have tried the different system. Okay, the dual booting system on this in the same desktop and laptop. So it's okay, but there is a problem in terms of the virtual machine. Yeah, okay, can be used, but it need a higher RAM and so on. But now we are talking about something like desktop or laptop, which have only now the minimum is 8, right? 8 GB RAM. So you can do the dual booting. Okay, for the dual booting means that the operating system, both Linux and Windows sharing the same, okay, or situated or saved in the same uh, hard disk. Okay, so it's okay, but need to be the space need to be allocated accordingly. Okay, so that's one. That's a one the one of the important thing. The other ones you need to bear in your mind when you save or you want to backup. You want to do the backup of your files, for example. Okay, when you save in the Linux, for example. Okay, actually the same portion will be allocated for the Windows system. So it means that if you backup for about 100 megabytes, so it will be times 2. Okay, so that's the drawback. But if you have the large, for example, 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte of the hard disk, it will not become a problem. Okay, so that's I mean the from the beginning the installation process and so on. So must be done properly. Okay, to ensure there is no conflict between this Windows and the Linux distros. Okay, that one for the case or I mean the using the same hard disk. Okay, means that they are having these two operating system in the same hard disk. Okay, actually for me, okay, it is recommended. I'm also currently use the practice or use the same approach, which is I use the two separate. I allocated the two separate hard disk, solid state, okay, SSD, solid state drive, okay. Instead of one, so I upgrade or I put another one, I add another one, okay. And I also increase the RAM, for example. Okay, I increase the RAM, okay, to increase the performance, and means that the two different hard disks, the each one meant for different operating system. One for the Windows and the other one for Linux. And Alhamdulillah, it's run smoothly, better than the dual booting from the same hard disk. Is it clear? Let me see the comment. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Like being said by Mahzan Musa. Okay. Of course, you can use a virtual machine, but it depends on your computer specification. If you have a high spec, it's okay. Okay, but for the low spec, it's not recommended. Okay. And Khairul Hisham, I used to dual boot. Now single boot mean only for signal. Just now having used it in my work laptop. Okay, of course. when you are start using the Linux and you try when you really, I mean, do the 100% migration, okay, from Windows to Linux, you will slowly adapt the Linux and you try to forget the Windows. Okay, but in my case, I still need to use the Windows for certain application. Okay, that's why I still retain the Windows. And but most of my work now, I'm using the Linux OS. Okay, so that's the pro and con. Okay, it's okay. You can try from the beginning. Like I said, try by using the old laptop. No harm trying, right? Okay, you can try to install it and so on. Maybe you can ask your friend we are familiar with this system. You can do kinds of, no need to do the kinds of drastic migration. Okay, from Windows to Linux. You can try slowly. Trying from the yeah, you can boot from the USB drive also. Yeah, if you, there's another way around. Okay, to get the feelings of Linux OS, you can use the operating system by booting it even from the USB drive, and the capacity, if I'm not mistaken, is not more than, it's not more than 5. Yeah, it's not more than 5 meg if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's the alternative, the other alternative that you can try. Okay, to feel what you call it, the application of Linux distros. Okay, back to our back to the slide. Okay. Now, I just want to share with you regarding these facts, fascinating facts about Linux. Okay, as you can see here, okay, don't be surprised that 85% of all smartphones are based on Linux, because actually the Android operating system is a modified modified version of Linux kernel. Okay. And then the Linux market share on desktop, yeah, this one, okay, I just want to focus in terms of the, okay, 83.1% of developers claim that they prefer to work on Linux. Okay, because, yeah, like I mentioned before, Linux is a synonym with developer, okay, yeah, they can customize their work accordingly. Okay, and then we go for general Linux statistic. Okay, it's a lot of tons of line of code. Okay, you can see, you can go for the Git repository if you want to get, I mean, the initial info and so on. You can go for Git, okay, GitHub or GitLab and so on. But GitHub is good. Okay, so and this is among the breaking news or hot news about Linux is in last, okay, from last 2 years, 100% of the world's supercomputers run on Linux. Okay, as mentioned before, Android hold the highest OS market, 38.9. Okay, and yeah, of course lah, 96.3% of world top 1 million server, we're talking about server, okay, run on Linux. What about the rest? Yeah, in terms of the special effect, also run on Linux, 90%. Okay, 90% of public cloud workload, okay, also use or run on Linux. Okay, we go through later on regarding the space program that use Linux. And so on. There's yeah, for those who are gamers and so on, PS4 also run based on Linux-based kernel. Okay. And in 2018, I don't know this one or this one, but this is the just to show you the fact in terms of the using of Linux operating system. Okay, that's among the fascinating facts about Linux. Okay, and a lot more. Okay, a lot more text can be you can get from here. Okay, some of it is almost the same as previously mentioned. Okay, I just want to we just focus on this 2021. Okay, 2021. 21 and 30 years old. 21 is now, it's not 20 30 lah, it's become 30 lah, right? Right, up to today, up to this year. Okay, 30 years old. Okay, it's almost the same. Okay, it's almost the same like before. Okay, statistic usage or usage statistic, of course, mostly used by the professional developer, and website also. Okay, it's about almost 1/3 of the website. Okay. And yes, of course, a lot of developer, okay, that contribute to the Linux kernel code. Okay, so back to here. Okay, so who else use Linux? Almost the same, but I just want to highlight several points here. Okay, other than the established fact. Okay, the Chinese government use a Linux distros known as Ubuntu Kylin, so they developed their own version of Linux. Okay, so North Korea also have a Linux distros. I don't know how into application. Okay, because of the internet restriction over there for the most of the population. Okay, but they have their national Linux distros. So India also have their national distros, namely or called as a FOSS. Okay, US Army has the single large install. Of course, they go for this. I've mentioned before, the one of the the enterprise Linux. Okay, the BSD. So they use a Red Hat enterprise Linux. So the Dutch police, they have used since 2003. It's almost 18 years. Yeah, from the last 18 years. Bank of Brazil since 2002, and Bank of America, of course, earlier than that, early 20s. Okay, so that's one other interesting facts about Linux in terms of the application. Okay, based on the countries and based on the sectors. And I've mentioned before, Linux runs on all of the top 500 computers again. So since 2009, 2020, and until now. Okay, so this is one of the well-known news, okay, related to the Linux application. And Linux also been used in the car world, okay. So it's not just Tesla with a Linux under the hood. Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Hyundai, Toyota, and so on, they're also using the Linux. So you can see over here. So okay, so they name it as a not this name. Okay, so as a automotive. Sorry. I can easily. Okay. So automotive grade Linux, AGL. So there is another distros. Okay, like Tesla, they run their own homebrew Linux distros. So for those who want to buy the Tesla car, so you will be using the Linux distros, okay, the automatic grade Linux, okay, and the others, okay, big car manufacturers, okay, such as Audi and so on, and then regarding the AJL is going to develop an open source common platform, okay, so as known as a unified code base UCB and so on. Okay, as you can see, there's the proof that this Linux has been used. As mentioned also, the kind of the modified Linux kernel. So they modified it and known as for example, this Tesla known as the automatic grade Linux. Okay, back to our slide. Linux powered car, and from Earth to orbit with Linux and SpaceX. So talking about previously Tesla, SpaceX belong to Elon Musk. Okay, so this SpaceX also using the Linux. Okay, so here I just want to highlight in terms of okay, so this is the programming language we're using, C or C++. Okay, so this is the, okay, we try to, we go for this. Okay, Australian user use HP ZBook 15S, so who use this type of notebook, so it can be categorized as a astronaut grade notebook. Okay, but you run Debian Linux, Scientific Linux, and Windows 10. So they are still using the Windows 10. Okay. Maybe I'm not sure. These kinds of dual booting in I mean specific or other types of configuration, or maybe different laptop by using the different OS. Okay, but as you can see, the Linux system acts a remote terminal to CNC MDM. So this is term in this space. While the Windows system used for email, the web and file. So I'm not sure, but this is the dimension by this website. Okay, so means that the Linux system used for the critical, I mean the operational works. Okay, and Windows also been used for the email and so on. Okay, what about the rest? Okay, so that's the thing that I want to highlight. So any questions so far? Any question or any? Is it okay? Any questions so far?
No question, Doctor.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's
You still can follow me. It's about close to 75 minutes. It's okay. You want to continue or you want to break for a while? Majority, you want to continue or you want to break for a while? You want to take a break?
can continue.
It's fine to continue.
Okay. So I will continue, no problem. Okay. So this is the example. Now we go for the, of course, another thing which is interesting about the open source is about the security issue. So most of the peoples, okay, either the expert or the layman, so they are always comparing this security issue between the Linux and Windows. So actually, one of the main advantage of the Linux is in terms of the security issue. Okay, so frankly speaking, okay, if you are using Linux, you can forget about the antivirus, even though they still have this kind of antivirus for Linux, but it's kind of alternative. It's it's not compulsory, okay, to use the antivirus in Linux. Okay, either you can check like same like the Windows nowadays. You can troubleshoot the what call it, the health condition, mean that the security conditions of your desktop or laptop using the command prompt, okay, in Windows. But in Linux also you can monitor, you can troubleshoot, okay, you can check, and also you can monitor, of course, by using the command prompt. But they also have several simple software, okay, that can not just monitor but also have a good interface. I will show you one of the example that I'm it become my favorite. Okay, okay, this is a stencil. You can see, right? Okay, so they give the almost comparable to, but stencil, if I'm not mistaken, only can be run on Linux. Okay, so you give a good, for me, it's a good interface about the good to monitor. Okay, and also you can have the design, you can configure, okay, and also you can clean and so on. So a lot of the what call it, the features. Okay, this is one of the example. Okay, so anybody's used stencil before, maybe, or other types of monitoring performance system or software. Okay. Okay, there's in terms of the security issue. Here, okay, maybe came across this word. So maybe some of you heard about this Chromebook. This is one of the imaging, okay, operating system also from the Google, right? Yeah, Google. The Chromebook, okay, the laptop as well, okay. So, but truly speaking, in terms of security issue, Linux become very good in handles the related security issue. Okay, so you can go through this link, okay, that gives you the overview in terms of this Linux. Okay, just want to show you. Okay, but it hasn't give the good in the graphical form, the information just in the paragraph form, so it's hard to digest. Okay, but just want to show the call it the evidence of this related to security issue. Okay, okay, that's regarding the open source operating system. Now you're talking about the software. Okay, so it's from the operating. Okay, now we go for the software, or also known as a OSS. Okay, so this is it's not the latest one. Okay, like the Symbian is it's not. I don't think it's. I think it's not. It's I think Symbian is not. I think they have ceased the operation. They've stopped the operation. Okay, that was Symbian. It's not just to show you the uh, the the overview of the closed source compared to the open source. Okay, for example, the most simplest or the most I think almost every day we are using the word processing software, okay, or this such as Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. Actually, in the open source, they have a variety of order replacement, okay, for the Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, such as, who knows the example? Anybody knows? For the Office, okay, for the Office application, okay. So the example, I normally use the WPS, but when I use it, I try to use the WPS, okay, WPS. In Windows is not really friendly for me, okay. But when I use the WPS in Linux, for me is almost resemble, not 100%, but almost resemble the Office, and just a very minor modification that need to be made when I use the WPS for word processing, and also for the even for the PowerPoint, so named as a presenter, if I'm not mistaken, okay. So it's very good, okay. Other than this, you can use the Libre, okay, the LibreOffice, the LibreOffice. So maybe some of you are already familiar with this LibreOffice and WPS. Maybe some of you already use, yeah, LibreOffice. But for me, compared to LibreOffice, I prefer the WPS more. Okay, maybe about the, I'm not really sure, but in terms of the similarity with the Word. Okay, so Word and Excel. So I prefer the WPS rather than LibreOffice. But you can use both. But actually, they have more. Okay, there is more. You can browse. You can choose for this the alternative, the open source alternative. So it's good for those who already use, like Cairo Hisham, maybe have the you have anything to say, or you have something to say from your experience, Cairo Hisham?
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, Abang.
So far, okay. I've been using LibreOffice for work, and it has been okay, except for some formatting problems.
Okay.
And one personal comment I would like to make is that if I ever get anything from Word, I will change all Calibri into Arial.
Okay, it's a good thing. Okay, maybe you can try to use WPS as well. You can see the difference.
Yes, I will try that. Thank you very much. It's good.
Okay, other anybody else want to share your experience? Because yeah, of course, I mean the exposure from your experience is much more what you call it, significant. Okay, so of course I don't know. I mean the okay, 100% about this Libre, and okay, I'm still using it. Okay, but maybe somebody. Uh, okay, okay. Dr. Saidatul Azman. Yeah. So this is one of the example, as you can see here. Okay, you can see or not now? You can see, right? Okay, but for the Linux, if a Linux system is much more friendly, okay, much more friendly, I think better to use this one. I just because you want involve kinds of the what call it, the script, but this is the simplest one that you can simply download it. Okay, simply downloading from the website. Okay, so as you can see here, there is a lot of for Linux, for Mac, WS Office for PC, and so on. This is the alternative for to download the WPS Office. Okay, and this one for the Libre. Okay, But okay, download here. Okay, download LibreOffice. Okay, as you can see here. Okay, so this one you can change this system. Is it okay? Everybody can see or too fast? I think you can get the idea, right? Is it okay? Okay or not?
Okay, doctor.
Okay. Okay. So PM
Okay.
Dr. Is it okay or not? I just show the most common method. Okay. But actually, it's much more faster if you can do by using the terminal or the command line. Okay. But this is the most commonly used. Okay. But for Linux user, it's much more easier. Okay, to use the command line or Linux. Sorry, command line or terminal script. Okay. So is it okay? Actually, a lot more. But I show these two lah. Okay, the WPS Office and this LibreOffice. Okay, and the good news is if you want to upgrade the version of the Libre also can be made for Linux lah, of course lah. For Linux, you can make by using also the command line and the also the command line or terminal. Okay, not just for the software but for the operating system as well. Like the Linux means I'm start using it. When not mistaken 19 something. So now it's 20.2. Now is what's the name? Last time is Uliana. Now is what? Umar, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So it can be simply upgraded by using the script. Okay, and the script you can search through the internet. Maybe a week after the announcement, so you can simply upgrade it. So it's very simple actually. Okay, so is it okay? So far, any question? During undergraduate, our FAQ report must using Libre. I don't know. Maybe your lecturer is familiar with the or what Libre what call it? Like Libre more than words. Okay. So any other person want to share regarding the your experience and so on regarding the software, not just the what call it, word processing. Okay, the other. But actually, of course, I prefer. But they still have the limitation lah. Okay, I told you the for the Excel, for example, they still cannot run the macros for the meantime. Maybe in the future they can integrate, can be integrated. Okay, but they have still have the. That's why I think they have still have the limitation. Okay, compared to the proprietary or the commercial software such as Microsoft Office. Okay, shall we continue? Okay. Okay, so fact about open source software. I think okay, I just want to highlight here in terms of this license. Okay, they have a MIT license, they have a GNU. Okay, GNU General Public License, and Apache license, GNU General Public License 3.0, and BSD license. Okay, this is the most popular license or distribution license related to OSS. Sorry. Okay. And few example of OSS, GNU, Linux, okay, Mozilla Firefox. What makes the Mozilla Firefox, even though and only minority of the users choose to use Mozilla. But in terms of security, Mozilla is very good. And the others who knows about the Chromium? Anybody knows about the Chromium browser? We are talking about the browser. Chromium, not the Chrome, the Chromium. The Chromium is an open source browser. And for a developer, and me also, sometimes for specific project, so I will be using the Brave browser. Who knows? Anybody knows? So this is example of the Brave browsers. And for the Chromium, is actually look like a Chrome. Okay, so wait a minute. So we try to show you the Chromium web browser. It's almost the same, almost same as Chrome. Okay, this is a open source, the Chromium. Okay. Okay, so this is the Brave. Okay, Brave browser, good for the security, open source and good for the security. Okay, so customer relation management, Sugar CRM, VLC. I think this is very familiar with you, most of you, VLC. But nowadays there is a lot of not nowadays lah. Okay. Maybe last 10 or 15 years, VLC media player, Jim. So how many of you ever use Jim? Ever heard about Jim? So you shall try to use the Jim instead of Adobe Photoshop. So I'm trying to use the Jim. So for me, it's a good and better. It's comparable to Photoshop. Adobe. Sometimes it's called Adobe. Okay, Adobe or Adobe Photoshop. Okay, this one known for the network work or network person, Apache, HTTP server, and as mentioned before, LibreOffice. So anybody knows about Jim? Anybody?
Yeah, the doctor in the chat room, they say some of them use Jim
Okay,
before.
so it's good. So it's a good. Yeah, use the Jim and Krita. Yeah, it's good. So when you start using the Jim and so on, so you can get the you can compare. Okay, the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, of the open source compared to the commercial or the proprietary software. Okay, but you should try first. Okay, so when I try the Jim, so of course now I prefer to use a Jim compared to the Adobe Photoshop. A lot more actually, a lot more. Okay, even for the video editing. Okay, even for the video editing. Okay, my son previously they used the commercial one. Okay, so they need to pay certain 100 RM, okay, to buy the license. Okay, but once I introduce the open source, okay, so he said it's almost comparable. So that's the thing that need to be tried. Okay. Okay, so of course this is a common or established comparison, okay, between these open source and the proprietary or commercial software in terms of license fee, okay, in terms of the license fee, in terms of maintenance of support, okay. So of course for proprietary they're looking for the commercial support yearly. Yeah, of course it's a yearly basis, for example. But for the open source, you can go and looking for the community, and also as I mentioned before, they also have the commercial support. Okay, if you want to make try to solve it, or you don't want to troubleshoot, better go for the commercial support. But if you want, if you can, you want to troubleshoot, you want to explore more, you can go for the community. Okay, and in terms of source code, for of course there is no access of the source code for the proprietary compared to the open source again. Okay. Okay. Next, the same, almost the same comparison. Okay, almost the same comparison. But I just want to highlight over here. Okay, such as Android, Firefox, Libus, Ubuntu, Free, Drupal, Genome, and so on. Okay, so here that you're still using, most of the person, okay, including me, for certain reason you're still using the Windows, okay, Google Earth, Adobe Flash Player, and so on. Okay, but they have a, you can try to find the, even though it's not 100%, okay, one-to-one replacement, but still have the, what you call it, the candidates, okay, to get almost the same, okay, function of the application. You can try to get. And then this is a lot more example of OSS, as you can see over here. Okay, maybe you are not, some of you not really familiar, but it's okay. There's a, just to show you the example, okay, or the Eclipse, Drupal, and so on. It's a lot more actually. It can be used, okay, but you need to explore and you need to try. Only you can differentiate and you can get the, I mean, the trust, okay, and you can integrate also with your, okay. Well, okay, before that, okay, let me explain before I forget. The main reason, okay, as I mentioned by the Miss Jefferson, okay. So the main reason why I slowly, how to say, it's not actually migrate slowly. It's not. It's just a partial migration actually. Okay. It's supposed to be. I started. Okay, I started exposed to this kind of, not the free things actually, the open, so-called open source. Okay, started when I ventured into this free digital tools. A lot of digital tools that can be used to sync and to use to facilitate actually. Okay, targeting to facilitate our work actually. Okay, so from that, a lot of the I found that a lot of the free digital tools which is available in the form of website, in terms of Chrome extension, and so on. So, but the most important thing is in terms of the integration. So that's why I try to differentiate. It's not migration, it's integration. So when you try to integrate with my work, okay, my humble research and so on, so it's looked very well, okay, and it facilitated me a lot actually. Okay, so that's why, that's one of the reason why I started, okay, to explore more on these open tools or open tools. And lastly, I found that this open source is really suited me and give a lot of freedom to me, okay, to not just to configure but to integrate the most suitable software to be used according to my needs. Okay, is it okay? Or it looks too complicated? Okay? Is it okay? Or is it okay? Okay. Okay. So if you want to say something, it's okay. Not like I mentioned, it's a sharing session. Okay? You can express your, or you can deliver, or you can say, or you want to say something based on your experience. It's okay, no problem. We can share over here. Okay? So don't worry. Okay, I just want to share my experience actually. So means that I'm not, truly speaking, as mentioned before, I'm not a good person actually. But for me, I like to explore. Okay, so I like to explore. So when I explore, I got I managed to get, for me, okay, maybe for the like I said, for the technical person means that for the expert person in this particular area in IT on electrical, maybe you think that of course that's your area, right? But for me, when I try to integrate with my experimental work, okay, with my analytical work, give me a lot of freedom. Okay, a lot of freedom to integrate. So that's the thing that makes me really amazed and really appreciate it. Okay, so that's why for me it's a good opportunity. It's a good what call it? Uh, it's a good type of venture or exploration. It's worthwhile for me. Okay, okay. So now I just want to share again regarding the free software. Okay, open source and freeware. Just to share into, because this is into of term. Okay, so because that's why I don't want to associate the sorry to say it's supposed to be FOSS, free and open source, but better for me to focus on the open source, and at the same time I will explain regarding the other related term, associated term. Okay, such as free software, freeware, public domain software, and others. Okay, I will introduce that. Okay, this is to give you the overview. Okay, regarding what's mean by open. Okay, so it means that when it's open, it's not just open means that you can get freely, but the keyword here for me is the development. So it means there is a lot of development, a lot of updates. Okay, compared to the free. When you get the free software, uh, uh, I, I don't want to say there is no update, but very less update, if there is an update. But normally there is no update for the free software. Okay, but for the open source software, normally there is a lot of update. Okay, there's a lot of update. So that's one of the important. Compared to the freeware, freeware is kind of, for me, okay, kind of, it's a promotion gift. Okay, okay, so it's targeted for marketing goal. And for the public domain, of course, they want to give it. I'm not really. Actually, I'm not really understand this term, but when it term as a public domain, mean they want to give back to the society, maybe. So this is one of the software. Okay, SQLite. But as you can see, the freeware, something like Adobe Acrobat and so on, you can get it. But if you want to get extra features, of course, you need to subscribe for the full features software. You need to buy, of course. Okay, so that's the difference between freeware. The other word that for me, okay, is almost the same as a freeware is a freemium. Means that there is a free software which is available to be used, but if you want to get the more features, full features and so on, you go for the premium. So they call it is a freemium. Okay, they call it as a freemium. Can you see or not? Premium. Okay, so it's almost same like freeware. Okay, you can go for the free version, and if you want to go for the full features one, you need to subscribe for the premium version, known as so I mean that's why the term, where the term premium came from. Is it okay?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, okay. So I just want to make sure that you understand the difference between the open source and freeware. Okay, so it's very important. So actually the open source, that's why the term is FOSS, free and open source. It's not free or. So that's why, as you can see, the word is free and open source. Okay, so that's actually the two different terms. Okay, it's not the same term. or it's the same definition. Yes. Anyone to say? Anybody want to say something? Okay. So if okay, I will proceed. Okay, and then this is the why open source in terms of cost reduction, in terms of quality improvement, quick time to market, full ownership and control, drive innovation with rapid. And then maybe some of you will think, if everything is kind of free, so how this the related company which use this type of technology or the development gain the income or get the income? So actually, most of the open source they are targeting more on the service. What call it? The for the service and consultancy, okay, related to the development and for the specific application, okay. So that's their business, so-called business strategy or business model, okay. So no vendor lock-in, high flexibility. So I got I got previously I got the problem when you call it as no vendor lock-in. So I bought the laptop from one of the established computer, and suddenly when I will try to reinstall, okay, try to format the window and so on, I got the difficulty. So when one of the security features, namely or called as a BitLocker, so I got a lot of problem. Okay, so that's one of the strategy, okay, by the commercial laptop manufacturer, okay. So they have a kind of safety that will make a difficult changes for the user, okay. So that's why when you use open source, actually it try to make your work more simpler. But for the truly speaking, the learning curve, of course, the learning curve is a bit difficult. But when you familiar with the technique and so on, a lot of things can be ventures later on. Okay, so broad perspective integration, like I have mentioned many times before. So a lot of integration and customization can be made, and also the collaboration approach for better solution. So from my limited experience also, so I got very sometimes when I face a certain problem related to Linux, I try to find the solution in the forum or in the specific groups, okay. So I got very good support actually. They are give very good support, okay. The Linux from the Linux so-called expert from the Linux throughout, I mean all over the world. So from my experience, they give a very fast response actually. Okay, they are very cooperative, give a very good support. Okay, and then this is to get the more broader views of the open source software, free and open source, free of charge and single purchase. So photography, painting, animation, if you're not mistaken. Okay, for this one, for those who are maybe familiar with the Inkscape, okay, they can use the Inkscape, and then Scribus as well, related to the publishing and so on. Okay, this is in terms of software. A lot more example, okay. DaVinci, okay, I mentioned before. So my son, so they're using this DaVinci, okay, to edit the video. Okay, so this is open source, and then the performance is comparable to the commercial one. So okay, and then there's a lot more. Okay, you can see the Windows and the alternative that's available in Linux. So you can use if you use the After Effects, this one also related to video if I'm not mistaken. So you can use a Netron in Linux. Photoshop, as mentioned before, you can use the GIMP, okay, and so on. You can see a lot of alternative that can be used, like Microsoft Word, you can use LibreOffice, 3D Max, you can use a Blender. This is also related to videos. Okay, CorelDRAW can be replaced or can be substituted or can be replaced by Inkscape and so on. You can see a lot of alternatives can be found in Linux. Sorry. And then this one a lot more replacement for expensive applications so on. Okay, so you can see this one for accounting, for example, they have used a few. So I tried to use this GNU Cache. It's worked very well. Okay, and then for audio recording, Audacity is the most established one. Okay, Audacity. Maybe some of you know about this Audacity. It's related to audio and so on. Okay, business intelligence also Jaspersoft, Mimi. Okay, I'm trying to use this one. It's good also. It's for analytics, okay, for business analytics. Okay. And business process, CAD, okay, CAD CAD also. Okay, so last time I tried to use this one. FreeCAD is okay, but it's a bit tougher for the beginner. And then a lot more, as you can see, a lot more. Okay, in terms of database and so on. MySQL, of course, the established one. Okay, desktop publishing, as mentioned before, like Scribus. Okay, and so on, a lot more. Okay, and then go for the open source alternative for everyday usage. Of course, web browser, email. If you want to use a Thunderbird, you can sync, okay, directly to your laptop. Okay, instant messaging. Okay, even though it's not really popular, but it can be used. Media player, VLC, as mentioned before. Notepad, of course. LibreOffice again. Gene, almost the same. Okay. Antivirus, you can try to use this claim AB, it's okay. And so on, many more. Okay, Ubuntu and so on. Okay, that's all regarding this open source alternative. Best open source. Yeah, LibreOffice, VLC, Gene, Shortcut, Brave, Audacity, and so on. This is the best. Okay, classified as the best software to use. Future of open source development. Okay, so there's a 5 prediction. Okay, open source lead the quantum change. Software become the most important than hardware, the most technical gap. Yeah, they just highlight. Yeah, 5 has started with this. Okay, a development speed increase, open source increase. Okay, will apps be recognizable as apps? And the more personal tech get, the more we need to know. Okay, so this is the future development. And talking about the programming software, so this is, I just highlight these two regarding the Python and the R. I think maybe some of you are already familiar with this Python. So a lot of these libraries, what's called a library that can be integrated with your work. Okay, not just for the machine learning, actually for the data analysis as well. Okay, and so on. But normally they are more, synonym nowadays for the data science, but also can be used for the basic statistic and data analysis as well. Okay, so for those you are already used the Python, maybe they are familiar. Okay, they were familiar with this few or most of these libraries. And R as well is open source, and a lot of the libraries which is related to the data analysis. Okay, R is more known for the data analysis. And lastly is about the open source. Of course, when we talk about open source apps, actually it's not just your mobile phone, but it's also your tablet. A lot of apps. Okay. And then, as you can see here, this is for the iPhone. This one is for the BlackBerry, and this one for the Linux. Actually, they have a Linux phone, even though it's not popular, but there is just a small market, very tiny market for the Linux phones. Even though they have a huge portion of market is dominated by the Android phone. Okay, again, is it okay? It's close to 12 o'clock. It's okay.
Okay, Doctor.
It's okay. I will try to highlight the certain important point over here. Okay, regarding this Android, the iOS and also the KAIS OS is a Linux based. Okay, so you can see in the worldwide it's close to 3/4. Okay, 72% dominated by, of course, dominated Android, and iOS 26. And okay, we try to see the trend in Malaysia. Is it higher or lower than the worldwide? 74. Okay, so 72 means that higher. iOS is 23 compared to the worldwide is 26, a bit lower. And unknown, Linux 0. Okay. Okay, this one for the Malaysia. We can see the trend. Maybe try to see another one in US. Of course, I think they go for the iOS. Okay. Is it? The iOS is 56 only. Oh, sorry, 56 only. Okay. The Android is up. Is 42. It's close to 43. Okay. And small amount for the Windows and it's a contradictory portion. Okay, only 56 for the mobile operating compared to this computer operating system. Okay, so S is lower. Okay, that's just a scenario to give the scenario in terms of the market share. Okay, in this as I mentioned before, there's a Linux phone. Anybody's heard about Linux phone before? Linux phone? No. Okay, actually there's a Linux phone. Okay, even though it's not as popular, but the mostly because of the specification is not at par compared to the leading brand. Okay, but the price is relatively cheap actually. The cheapest one is about $150. It's about 600 plus RM. Okay, so you can see a few example of the Linux phone. Okay. There are exist actually. Okay, exist in the phone market. Okay, also in the market phone. Okay, the first one is Ubuntu Touch. Okay, the Post Market OS, Sailfish OS. Okay, Mobian. Mobian actually is Linux smartphone. Yeah. Okay. Mobian and Loon. Loon, if you want to say OS. This is the example, the 5 smartphone operating system. This is operating system. Okay. And 20 best open source app for Windows. See, roughly, go through briefly regarding this open source app for Windows. As I mentioned here, GMVLC, almost the same. Okay, yeah, they combine it and they name it as a apps. A lot more. Okay, you can see over here. Okay, okay, and so on. So I will. First. Okay. Is it okay so far? Oh.
Yes.
Okay, I will try to close. Any question? Oh. A few of these with the tab. There's a few more slides to finish. Okay. And then this is 10 best open source app for Android. Okay. Open camera, Nextcloud. Maybe this is relatively new for you, but if you want, you can try. Okay. Actually, sometimes you can try to find the specific software which is not available in the window as well. You can find. I got a few of it. Okay. To try to find out and suddenly got it. Okay. Even though it's not popular, but for me is it assists me a lot. Okay. Okay. Open source mobile OS alternative to Android. Okay. Easy. Okay. Like a Plasma Mobile and so on. Almost the same. Okay. But with the addition of a few. This is in term. Last time is regarding the operating system, but now it's open source mobile. Okay. So Plasma Mobile, the name is Plasma Mobile. Okay, Post Market OS and so on. Okay, it's a good alternative also that I will try in the near future is I will try to use this maybe Ubuntu Touch. Okay, this is my experiment. I'm going to replace it my current phone operating system, which is I think ready to be replaced. Okay, due to the certain limitation of the update. So I will try to convert it into the Linux system later on. This is my individual, what I call it, experiment of individual project. Okay, so that's the option. Try to use the operating system, open source operating system, in the whole smartphone. Okay. Sorry. Open source, and okay, this is open source project. Okay, specific project. And the OS application, 10 best open source data analytic. Here, of course, there's maybe I'm also not really familiar, but this is like Nimi or Nim, I'm familiar, but not all. Okay, just a few only. Okay, repeat minor is okay. So this is the open source data analytic tools that you can use to learn the data analytics. Okay, and this is for open source business intelligence tools for those who are want to do kinds of business analytic. Okay, so you can use this open source tools. Okay, known as Bird, Click Data, and so on. Actually, it's make things more easier lah. Okay, if you want to customize, of course, you need to use the programming, the Python or the R. But this is the kinds of it's just I mean you like the Excel, okay, but it's a more specific for the business analytics. Okay, so you can simply learn it, and then you can simply use for better data visualization. Okay, and so on, a lot more. Okay, intelligent tools, and okay. Maybe some of you already knew about this. The Python already replaced Excel in banking. Actually, they are no longer, most of the bankers, okay, they are no longer using Excel, but now they have to use a Python to analyze the mass or call it the large or massive amount of data. So they cannot just using the Excel for the analysis, the minimum analysis, data analysis. And then this one, the FOSS for spectroscopy. Okay, so this is related to my area. So there is a lot of this package. Actually, this you can see. I try to make it bigger. Okay. Is it okay? You can see. Okay. So as you can see, there is a specific. I call it here kinds of libraries, okay, that can be used, okay, for, let's say, for this one, for EEM, for they use a R system and C++, they use a R, Python as well for the NMR data visualization, for example, Bayesian inference for NMR data, they use a Python as well, biological simulation of the equation, and so on. But as you can see, majority of these libraries will come from R or provided by R or Python. Okay, a lot that can be used, that can be seen. This is what I'm talking about previously. So you can try to integrate the relevant library, okay, according to your needs or your purpose of your research. So that make things more customizable compared to the existing software, which is a bit, what I call it, there's a lot of limitation, or sometimes you need to pay, of course, specific. You need to pay for the specific. I'm not sure in MATLAB, for example, they have a term over there. You need to buy the specific. Here you call it as a library. Okay, So that's the main advantage of using the open source. Okay, you need to find out the specific libraries available, okay, to be used according to your specific analysis. A lot more, can you see. One is it will categorize under spectroscopy. For example, those who are using the Raman, okay, process Raman, for example, they can use the R, for example, to analyze the IR data or vibrational spectroscopy, SRF analysis. Okay, a lot of abundant of the libraries to be used. But you have to choose accordingly, and the most important thing is uh, the most suitable to your needs. Okay, otherwise you will not going to produce the good data or good interpretation of data. Okay, so that's example for the FOSS spectroscopy, and then this one for the scanning electron microscope. So you can see over here. Is it in terms of the software or in terms of the hardware? So as you can see here, you try to use the open source replacement. Okay, any version of the game is reverse engineered most of the electron optic stuff and ET detected, but the backscatter detector HV supply is still unknown. So they try to use this kind of open source equipment. Okay, analytical characterization equipment, the SEM. So this is in my field. Okay, scanning electron microscope. They try to make it kinds of the what call it, the custom made. Okay, so it's available by using the open source concept. And the other one is much more challenging. This is the world first open source transmission TEM, transmission electron microscope. Okay, in Canada, developed in Canada. That's the open source initiative. Okay, they have built the world. Let me highlight the world first open source TEM. Okay, from scratch. Okay, so the development is about over 2 years. Okay, it was almost 2 years. So it's called a nanomi. So you can Google for nanomi. There's a lot of the information related to this project. So it can be built, okay, by using the open source concept. Because as you know, the like in my area, the one of the expensive cost for the maintenance of this characterization equipment is the yearly maintenance cost. Okay, including all the tiny wires and so on, very costly. Okay, so it's a good initiative, okay, to break the what call it, the debt kinds of ethics. Okay. Any sorry, I haven't seen anything. Is it okay so far? Question: what is the best alternative for Envivo? Oh, I'm not really sure about Envivo. Maybe somebody can give the idea for the Envivo. I know about the Envivo, but I'm not using it. Okay, actually. So maybe anybody knows about the Envivo? Maybe it's not related about frankly speaking, I don't know. Okay, about this Envivo. Maybe others can share your experience. Okay, it's extra digital skills. Okay, this one I just want to highlight for those, not just for the student actually, for the staff as well, okay, for the researchers as well. So actually we cannot just based on our current skill and our previous skills. This is based on the what call it, so-called the survey, if you're not mistaken, by McKinsey and company. So they found that there is about 56 foundation skills that will help the citizen thrive in the future of work. Okay, and then I just want to highlight these two. This two is the lowest. Okay, the lowest two skill group which is related to the digital. Okay, so in terms of software use and development, the understanding the digital system. So as you can see, this is actually, even though show the lowest, but actually this is the opportunity, show the opportunity to be developed. Okay, to cater for the future needs. Okay, and then this is just to show you, maybe some of you have seen this picture, okay, in the social media. So you can imagine in the last 10 years, there is a cameraman and pilot, but nowadays, both, I mean the cameraman, that is no longer relevant. So they're just using the drone, okay, for the same scope of job. Okay, and then for future strategy, you want to see the videos or you want to straight we go for the Q&A session? Actually, it's 12:17. Is it? Or you want you can type it and then you can uh, enjoy the video later on. Okay, this is about the future technology in the future actually. Even though this video were filmed in 2012, but I think it's still relevant until today. Even though it's about close to 10 years, it's about 11 years already. Okay, but still relevant. It's okay? Or anybody have seen this video before?
I think
Anybody?
Dr. maybe you may paste the link in the chat room so we can look at it anytime.
Yes. Okay. So I think no need to I mean you can try to figure out. And then okay, this is one of the example. Even though it's not 100% open source, but it's a good types of freemium. The example of freemium. You can try. How many of you already use this what call it? Uh, this software known as Pocket or Pocket, whatever lah. Okay. How many of you? You can try it now if you want to. It can be used in what call it? In Android, okay, in Macs, and also in the Windows system, and can be integrated, okay, by using the Chrome extension also can. So the concept is save now, read it later. Okay, so this is one of the example for the premium. Okay, okay, from my maybe to answer, I try to answer for the Vivo, okay, later on, but let me finish, okay. So my perspective about FOSS is personally, it's about the security issue and for the continuous improvement. So in terms of research, it's about cost saving, flexible in research, design and customizable, and tool for better research analysis. And for the academic, of course, the absence of license fee, cost flexibility, performance benchmarking to preparatory software. That's from my perspective. Okay, and my personal view also. Personal view also. Okay, can be simplified. Okay, related to these three words. Firstly, it's about freedom. Okay, it's about freedom. The second one is about customizable. Okay, and the third one is about the security. Okay, so for me, this open source reflect these three terms. Okay, and I think that's all. And now open for this Q&A. However, I will try to answer the related to Envivo. I think this maybe you can use the from my I will okay, this one this webinar feedback form. So maybe you can, after this session or during this session, you can answer this feedback form. Okay, for this Envivo, from my search, maybe you can try to use this hardware. And maybe in terms of this CADMA and yeah, CADMA is open, and RQDA. This one for the replace. I mean for the alternative or replacement for Envivo, which is open source, free and open source. Okay, now it's open for this Q&A. I'm supposed to finish, like I mentioned before, by or before 12, but now it's already 12:22.
So thank you,
Sorry,
Dr.
sorry. Yeah.
So thank you, Dr.
If you have any questions, you can, or you want to share your experience or your opinion also, welcome.
So anyone have questions, please feel free
Thank
to
you
ask
very
them
much.
now.
I mean, for willing to stay with me for the last more than 2 hours. Okay. Very sorry if you think I mean my presentation is not up to your expectation, but I tried to give you the like I said, the awareness. Okay, not the specific knowledge yet, but the overview. Not the overview. Sorry, the awareness means that the simple information regarding the open source. Okay, in terms of the operating system, in terms of the software, okay, open source software, and then also the in terms of the apps, and also the applications of the open source, okay, in the research especially. Okay, anybody want to ask any question, or you want to share as well? HMS Huawei. I'm not really familiar with Huawei. Okay. So okay, frankly speaking, okay, it's not be it's a bit weird, but I will try to this one the thing that I haven't migrate yet. Okay, in terms of this mobile application, I still stick to iOS for certain reason, but slowly. Okay, I will try to migrate. Okay, I'm not familiar with the Android software related. Sorry, operating system. Okay, I will try to ask this one from Rosalita. I'm not sure, Dr. Rosalita or Miss Rosalita. Others, Dr. Wanzuki. Oh, Dr. Wanzuki. Okay, my friend. Others, I think a lot. I think others. Okay, any others? Sorry, any question related to this survey, or as I mentioned before, if you want to share any, I mean, your view or your experience, you're welcome.